Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I already discussed about that things with you. Here, I just added one of the condition as if condition, like when this status value will be the 1, then only this comment will be visible. Like if you go to our database and here in our database, there is also one of the field as a status field. And when this status will be the 1, then only this data will be visible. And for the reasons here, you can see right now there is only one for this post. There have only one comment for this post, and you can see now it's actually visible on here. So I hope you can well understand about it. So in this video I will show you about the add comments. Like here, if you put the name and the comments and if you click on the submit, so first of all these comments will be comes on particular that position, that means in our comments area with the post. Okay, so that's very much important, so you have to actually define that comments with the post. So first of all, it should be status value as a 0. So if you want to publish it, then it should be published and display in our particular that position. So for now, I want to do that work. For doing this, we have to work in our that area, that is in our details page, and also they have the Slack. Okay, so in our details page right now we have to work. So now go to our details, and here that is our add comments. So in particular that positions right now there is HTML form. Okay, so you can see there is a HTML form. So right now I want to update it. So if you go to our admin, like in our admin there is a category, and in our category I already created some of the form. Like if you go to the create, and here you can see that is actually the form. So right now I just copy it. So now I want to update that form. So that is actually the form. So for now in particular that position I just added that things on here. So now here I just added the form and open form. I just defined the array URL. So here we have to define one of the URL. Like here I just define one of the URL as a comment. Okay, I just define the URL as a comments, and it should be our post method. So right now I already updated our form on here as open form. So right now we don't need this. So now we have to close this form. Okay. So here we also did that work. Like here I just close this form. So I just copy it, and that is actually the form closing on here. So I just paste on particular that position. And now I also want to update our text field. So that is actually our text field. So better I just copy some of the text fields. So if there is a text form, I just copy it. Okay, and now in our details space, first of all I want to update that text form. So here I paste it. Like there is a form will be the text form. Here you can see there is type as a text type and name. So that is a name actually in our database. If you go to that our table, that is a comments table. So here we need that name, that is the name and the comment, and also this post ID, because this comment actually created to which post. So it's very much important. That means the post ID is very much important, and that is actually status. So for now that is actually the field I want to input that things from. Here you can see there have two fields, one of the name and the comment. So that is actually the name and the comments. So now I want to name it as a text name, as a name, and the form ID. So that is actually class. So here I just define that with the array, and the class, that class is the form control. So it's pretty much the same class. So I don't need to do anything on here. Also that is the ID. So I just define that ID on here. And I also want to add one of the placeholders. So I just define as a placeholder. I just define the placeholder, and for the placeholder I just define that as a name. Okay, I just define that as a name. And also I want to take another one, so I just copy it, and right now we don't need this. I just remove that things from here, and now there is another one is a text area. So for this text area I want to define as a form, it should be the text area. Okay, I just defined as a text area for this one. There is a name. So now our another field, database another field as a comment. So here I just defined as a comment. Okay, I just define as a comment, and now there is a class. So class is the same, that is the form control class, and ID will be the comment, and the placeholder I just defined that name as a comment. Perfect. So now we don't need this. I just remove that things from here. I hope you can well understand about it. So now there should be one form, then another one. There is a text form. Okay, so there is the one. And now here also we need one things, like from here I just pass that things in our comments URL. So that is will be that's the route I have to create. Okay, and here also we need two things. One is actually this post ID, and also another one is this Slack. Okay, so these the two things will be needed. So for that reasons better I just add one of the hidden field on here. Okay, that is the hidden form. So first of all I just take one of the hidden form for our Slack. So here I just define the form, and then I just define make the things as hidden. Okay, and here I just define our Slack. So here I just define the Slack, and I just have to pass that things with our like if you go to that position I just define that things as a post. Okay, that with this post I have to actually pass it. So for now with this post I just define as a Slack, and also we need the another one is means actually this post ID. That means you inserted some of the comments to which post, so that will be very much important. So for the reasons we need that actually post ID, like there is actually one of the post. Okay, so that is one of the posts, so you have to also define that things which post is that you are actually adding that comment. And also if you go to our backend here you can see there is a name, there is a post name and the comment. So it's pretty much important. For the reasons we need this, so for the reasons I just define another hidden form. Okay, I just define as a hidden, and now there should be, I just name it as a post ID. Okay, post ID. So and here with this post we have to pass that our ID, that means post ID. Okay, so in our post table, so they have ID, will be actually I just pass that things with on particular that position. So now there is a placeholder I just defining, and then our text area I just defining, and here I just define one of the URL, that means the route we have to create, and this method will be the post method, right? So now go to the route, and in our route here I want to create one of the methods. So better I just copy it and here I paste it. So route will be, I already assigned that things on here. Okay, like that will be the comments. So here I just define that as a comments, and right now we don't need these. I just remove that things from here. And now in our details space controller I want to create one of the method as a comment. Okay, I have to create one of the method as a comment on particular that position. So now go to our details space controller, that means here. So on particular that, after that I just want to create one of the method as a public, and then function, and here our method will be as a comment. Yeah, that is a comment. So I just add that things on here. So now I have to do, first of all I have to pass the parameter as a request. Okay, here I just pass it, and then dollar request. So I just define as a dollar request. So this comment, so here what exactly we have to do, we have to actually insert some of the comments, right? So here we have to insert the name and the comments. So that's all we need. So for doing this I already did this type of work in our round. If you go to that admin, there is a comments controller, and into the comments controller here you can see I already created this type of things like inserted data, and status value first of all will be inserted with the 0 value. Okay, so for now I just copy whole things from here. I just copy whole things from our comment controller in our admin. So right now I just paste on particular that position. So now I will actually customize it, like here there is a request. I just first of all add the validation and the comment field. I just make the things as a required, and the post ID which I think I just define on here as a hidden, that means this post ID. Okay, so for now here I just define make the things also as a required, and the comments new, here I just define our comment model, so we have to also include it, like here I have to include as use app and then our comment. Okay, I just define our comment model on particular that position. So after that there is a name. So here I only want to pass that things with this request, so I don't need this. So here with this request I want to pass the name. So here if you go to the details page, and here you can see there is the name, and also there is a comments. So for now I just pass that name, I just pass that comments, and also another field as a post ID. So for the post ID I just make the things as a hidden. Okay, and I hope you can well understand about it what exactly that post ID. If you go to our database, and here you can see also there is a all post ID, that means that this actually the number 3 post. So this post will be actually matched with our post ID. Okay, so that is the things we have to do. So for the reasons I just defining it on here. And after that I want to I want to save it, and where I also define that comment status will be the 0. That means when this data will be saved, by default is status will be the 0. So here I defining it, and then the return and redact the route, and here what it will be redacted, like when you actually insert the name and the comment, and if you click on the submit, and after the submit it should be redirected to the same page, and into the same page here you can see there is actually the details, and also there is actually the Slack, right? So in our details page already they have, if you go to our route, so that is actually the details and also Slack. So now I want to actually pass that things on here. So for the reasons here I just defining one of the name, like I just name it as a details. Okay, I just name it as a details. So now I want to do, I want to pass that, so I want to pass that things with these details. So here I just name it as a details. I hope you can well understand about it. And after the details also there have some of the Slack, right? So here also there have some of the Slack, so we have to assign it. So we have to assign it with for the reasons here you can see I already defined that Slack for the hidden field as a Slack. So now I have to add that things on here, like there is actually field as a Slack, and with this request I just define a Slack on particular that position. So right now we don't need this, I just remove that from here. Okay, I just remove it from this position. So I hope it's very much clear to you what exactly the things I did on particular that positions. Now click on the save all. Okay, now I just click on the save all, and now if you go to that page and refresh that page, so now here it's showing as a form, not form. You can see there is a spelling mistake. I did something wrong in our details page. And in our details page here, you can see I just defined as a form. So it should be actually form. Okay, so form and then post Slack ID. There is a method as a post method. So we also have to do that is actually the post method. And in our route, if you go to that route here, you can see I just define as a get method. So it should be as a post method, and after that there is actually the comments, and then our details page controller, then actually the comments. Okay, in the comments method, so that is our comments method. So now let's check this out again. I just click on the save all, and now I just refresh that page. Yeah, now you see it's now perfect. So now in particular that from particular that position I want to insert, like there is our field as a name field and the comment field, and now and here there is only one comment, so now I want to put another comments as a test, as a test name. Okay, and also test, and I just define as a comment, I just define as a text comment. So now let's check this out. I just click on the submit, and when you submit then it should be redirected to our details with this Slack, right? So that is the things I define on here. It should be redirected to our details with this Slack, so that is to the Slack. So now let's check this out, our data is inserted or not. Okay, so now if you go to our database, so the table, that is just comments table, from here I just refresh it. Yes, you can see now there is actually the name as a text name, and there is actually the text comment, and also there is a ID, there is a post ID as a 3, and by default the status as is a 0. So there's the things I just assigning on here. The status will be the 0. Okay, so I hope you can well understand about it. So now if you go to your backend, like the comments section, so that is actually the post. Right now I just refresh it. Yes, you can see now there is a name as a text name, and also showing as a post, and that is actually the comments. And here I insert that post as a 0 value, that means the status at now 0. So now if you want to publish it, like here right now I didn't publish it, so if you now refresh it, that page, and now here you can see they have didn't actually show it. But if you published it, like I just published that comments. Okay, so right now I published that comments, and comment status has changed successfully, and now that is actually published. And now if you refresh that page again, yes, you can see now that is actually the name as a text name, and also it's showing this comment. So I hope you can well understand about it. We successfully did that work, so you can actually control your all that comment from your backend. So now it's perfectly work on here. I hope it's very much clear to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.